Welcome to Award Spotlight, where we shine a light on distinguished members of the UCLA Anderson alumni community, specifically the recipients for the school's Alumni Awards. My name is Isabelle Jones, MBA candidate from the class of 2022. Today is my pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2020 Outstanding Alumni Service Award, Mike Paola, class of 1994. Mike Paola is the founder and CEO of Threshold Worldwide, which houses his 10 plus real estate, art procurement, product development, and lifestyle companies. He is based in New York City, Miami Beach, and Los Angeles. A serial entrepreneur, Mike is also a founding partner and lead investor in Igikai Media, which includes Bodang Kuma, a full-service music production facility and record label, Bulletproof Bear, which provides music licensing and clearance, original composition, music supervision, administration, and production, and Central Post LA, a boutique full-service post-production facility. Mike started his career on Wall Street beginning in 1986 with a brief 2-year hiatus to receive his MBA from UCLA Anderson. In the art world, Mike is on the board of trustees at the Museum of Arts and Design, the Painting and Sculpture Acquisitions Committee at the Whitney Museum of American Art, and the Board of Directors of Art Production Fund. He is chair of the Art Advisory Board at Coalition for the Homeless, vice chair of the Board of Directors at Feature Hudson Foundation, and member of the Board of Urban Technology. Mike is also a founding advisory committee member of New Wave Art Weekend in Palm Beach, Florida, which partnered with Pittsburgh-based nonprofit City of Asylum to establish an immigrant artist residency program in West Palm Beach. Mike continues to be active within the Anderson community. He is the alumni president of his class, serves on the board of directors of the Alumni Association, is lead development chair for Reunion Giving, and has served on the board of advisors at the Price Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation since 2014. Welcome to the spotlight, Mike.
Thank you very much, Isabelle. Wow, that was a mouthful.
I know, thank you.
I'm exhausted. I have to take a nap now.
All right, so we'll jump right in. You went from trading on Wall Street to trading in the art world. Tell us a little bit about your career journey.
Well, that was actually an easy transition. I traded derivatives, and I was a sales trader. And the one thing I've always said is, if you could trade derivatives, you could really trade anything. I could be a used car salesman. I could be any kind of salesman I wanted, because the skill set is basically the same. So the transition was easy. I gave myself 7 years, that if after 7 years of being on Wall Street, I wasn't having the same amount of a great time as I did on day 1 or 2, I would look to do something else. And there was so much pressure working on Wall Street, going into my 7th year. And it just seemed like a natural flow. I was going to, while I was working on Wall Street, I was going to museums. I was going to all the art fairs. I was collecting art already for myself, and friends used to say, hey, if you're, looking at, Art Basel, if you see anything I like, let me know. With the advent of the iPhone, it became very easy to do that. You just snap some pictures. Hey, do you like this? Oh yeah, sure. And hence there was a new career. So that transition was fairly simple. A lot less stress being in the art world than it is trading derivatives, for sure.
Very interesting. We'll jump back a little bit. We want to hear about what your most memorable aspect of your time at Anderson was.
So the Anderson gods may cut this, but the most memorable times at Anderson, although there were some amazing classes, and we all know about what classes stand out, was the time away from Anderson, meaning the times when we went to Challenge for Charity, when we went to Stanford University, when we went to train for Challenge for Charity in Palm Springs. It was the camaraderie with my classmates that made the work in the classroom a lot more tolerable and easy and fun. And because, not every class was, I'd say, fun. You learn a lot, but, fun has a little different connotation. But that to me made the difference. It was the time spent with my fellow Andersonites away from the classroom.
I'm sure many people.
I was also social director when when I was at Anderson. So I don't even know if they have that title anymore, but
I don't know if we can record those stories for this.
No, for sure.
So we want to hear a little bit more about the most pivotal moment or time period in your career and what kind of impact that's had in your life.
So again, to go against the grain, the most pivotal, and although it didn't seem so at the time, was after 3 years of working for the investment bank that hired me out of business school. They merged with a company that I had worked for prior to business school. And I don't want to say that it was a bad thing or a good thing, but it had something to do with something. And I had gotten laid off. In retrospect, it was like being kicked out of the nest, because instead of being the junior person on the desk or still being considered an intern or, rotational, whatever, I could now, I went to a new firm. I had a fresh look. I had, was calling clients that maybe weren't mine when I left. And I was able to call some of the shots, which was really, really important in my development in the derivatives world. So it was pivotal. I mean, I can't imagine where I would be now had I not gotten laid off. I might still be on that desk, with the same clients, and change is good. I didn't see it at the time. There was a good few, at least a week where I was depressed, but it turned out to be the best decision someone's made for me in a long time.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Don't give up. If you're out there and this all sounds real, don't give up.
That is
a great look back option.
From your intro, we heard, of course, that philanthropy is a big part of your life. Talk about why you have given so much to Anderson and to other causes that are close to your heart.
I'll start by saying when I graduated Anderson, I had very little debt. Going into that rotational program in the investment bank with 120 other people from all over the country, I think the people who were there from Anderson were the only ones without debt. I knew some people in my program had $500,000-$600,000 in debt, which back then, that's 25 years ago. That was like $1 billion today. It's hard to break ground when you're that behind. So for me to get started from start at zero instead of negative, $600K, I was able to run my business like I wanted to run my business and not worry about taking a second job or another job just to pay off debt. I was more in control of my career. So, that transfers onto, giving back. I'm a big believer in karma, and the places I give to, obviously Anderson, because they allowed me to start fresh and not with debt. I give to homeless charities because I've always had a nice roof over my head, and I can't imagine what it's like to not have a roof over your head. And I'm talking about homeless children who still have to go to school every day. It's awful. So I just feel that I have almost an obligation to give back. And it's also has to do with, I'm comfortable where I am. I'm not going to have the biggest boat, the biggest house, the biggest, in the world. So, if you're not going to have the biggest, and most people are already born with that, then, you have to be comfortable in yourself and where you live and what you do and your ability to, it's the entrepreneurial dream, right? You bankrupt and then you're rich and then you come up with a new idea and you bankrupt again and then you have to be comfortable with that. And I think I am, and I believe in karma. And if I didn't give back, I don't know if I'd be as successful today if I didn't give back and didn't start giving back early. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah, and I'm sure I speak for many watching this that we appreciate your generosity. So thank you. My final question here, and again, thank you for your time today. What advice do you have for students as they start their careers after graduation?
It's the same advice. You hear it over and over, but a lot of people don't listen. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it strongly. Do what you love to do. It may take you a little time to get there, but do what you love. I liked trading derivatives a lot, and I did that, and I did to the best of my abilities, and I got a lot of the camaraderie and the intellectual, pat on the back. It was great. But here I am now in an entirely different. I'm in the art world, and I love it. So it's going in the morning it's such a different mentality. Going into my own gallery versus going to work on somebody else's desk. And that's the best way to say it, and you hear that all the time. Everyone's heard that, but it's hard to follow through. You're kind of on this wheel. Even at Anderson, you're on this wheel. You're on this to interview, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's your 2-year business school's 2 years of interviews with classes in between," and you want to interview for everybody wants to work for the same company because they're number one or whatever, and just stop. Use the interview process to get a feel for, can I sit next to this person that's interviewing me? Do I like them? Do I like, and that's how you have to start thinking about things, because especially even if you're on a desk, a trading desk, or anywhere where the quarters are close. I mean, things are a little different now in a post-COVID world or in a COVID world, but you have to sit next to these people for 10, 11, 8, 14 hours a day. That's more than you're going to see your spouse, your parents, your kids. So you have to like what you do. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you have to like, just working in that office thinking all day long. You have to love it. If you don't love it, you shouldn't do it. If you're doing it just because the pay is good, you're not going to last. Go play the lottery. So you have to love it. That's my advice. And you should give back. That's that karma comes in. You should give back, and that'll keep feeding itself like a good cycle.
I am a strong believer in karma, and your advice resonates very close to home of where I am in my career right now. Mike, thank you again, and congratulations on being the recipient of the 2020 Outstanding Alumni Service Award. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much.